Assalamu alaikum and good morning, student. I'm Sayma Adhikari from Anjuman Islam Abdul Azim Khatkate English Secondary School Washi. Today we are going to learn 8th standard chapter number 11, Human Body and Organ System. Okay, now let us see respiratory system, where our respiratory system is situated or where it is located, and what are the different organs which are involved in our respiratory system. Here in this picture, what you see here, yes, this is a human skeleton. Here in a human skeleton, where is our respiratory system? So when we will click on a respiratory system, here you can see a respiratory system. This green color part is representing what? This is our rib cage. Okay, this one is the thoracic cavity. This is our rib cage. This cage like structure, this rib cage is actually what? Actually protecting our internal organ. Which internal organ it protects? It protects our lungs. Okay, if we will remove this, here I am removing all the bones, okay, around our respiratory system. So here you can see this one is what? This is lungs. And how many lungs we have here? One is to the right side and another one is to the left side. In a left side lung, how many parts are there? There are two parts, which is known as a two lobes. There are two lobes in a left side lung, and here in a right side lung, how many lobes are there? There are total 3 lobes which are present, which are situated. And after a lung, here you can see there is a pipe-like structure. This pipe-like structure which is present, this one is known as a trachea. This is trachea. Okay. This windpipe, also be known as a windpipe or known as a trachea. Here, when this trachea enter in our lungs, okay, if suppose I'll just slightly, or I'll remove that lung completely. Okay, now here I have removed the lung. Now what is remaining over here? Here only this windpipe is remaining. Okay, this windpipe initially it divides in two parts. Here you can see there are two branches, two parts which are present. One which enter in a right side lung and another one is entering in our left side lung. And when it enter in our lungs, after that also what happened? It divides and redivides many times. Okay, and this one is what? This is a trachea. These two branches are a bronchi, and when it enter in our lungs, it divides and redivides number of a time, and it gives a branch like structure, and this branch like structure is known as bronchioli. Here you can see there are two lungs, which one is to the right side and one is to the left side. Okay, this is a windpipe which is also be known as trachea, and this windpipe will divide in two. Okay, there are two branches over here. This windpipe divides into, one will enter in what? Right side lung and one will enter in a left side lung. So this is known as a bronchi. It will divide and redivide and form bronchioles. Over here, now when we breathe, from where we breathe from our nose. Okay, so this is our nasal cavity. This is our nasal cavity from where we breathe in air. Okay, and this one is what? This one is our oral cavity. This is our mouth. Okay, here we have our mouth cavity. Oral cavity is this one is a nasal cavity. And here in this particular diagram, you see there are two pipes, one which is in front and one which is at the back side. Okay, so why there are two pipe like structure over here? Here you can see on this particular pipe like structure, you find there are what? Ring like cartilage, ring like bony structure which is present, and this ring like bony structure you can feel on your neck also. If you will touch your neck, here you feel that there is a ring like structure here on your windpipe. Okay, we can feel those ring like bony structure which is present on what? Trachea. This is our windpipe, and slightly to the back side over here you find one more pipe over here. This is what? This is our food pipe, which is also be known as esophagus. So here from our mouth, they this food pipe and this windpipe, they generate here in this particular part here. Here you can see our windpipe and a food pipe both get separated. This is our food pipe, which is also be known as the esophagus, and this one is a windpipe, which is a trachea. So where they are originating? Over here. Okay, here we can see there are two different one. Okay, one is a trachea and another one is what? Another one is the esophagus, which is originated here. So this particular part in our respiratory system is known as pharynx. Okay, this is what? This is pharynx. This one is the, and here the windpipe, trachea and esophagus, both of these pipes originated, which is known as pharynx. Okay, and this one is known as the larynx. Over here you can see this one is the larynx, okay, inside, and this one is what? This one is the pharynx. So pharynx is also be a part of our respiratory system. This is nasal cavity, then pharynx, then larynx, then there is a trachea. Okay, and then this trachea will divide into branches, which is known as bronchi. One bronchi will enter into left side lung, another bronchi will enter in our second lung, right side lung. Here these are the two lungs which are situated. One lungs have two lobes, one lungs have three lobes. Now why this left side lungs have two lobes? Because here in a middle what is present? Our heart is situated. Our heart is present here in a middle of these two lungs. Okay, so that's why in a left side lung we have two lobes, and here how many lobes are there? There are three lobes in our lungs. Okay, so and this bronchi will divide and redivide and will form the number of branches, which is known as bronchioli. In our respiratory system, one more organ play a important role. We have seen there is a lungs, trachea, bronchi, larynx, pharynx, all these organs. One more muscular organ which divides our upper body part and the lower body part. This is this muscular organ which is situated here. Here you can see on the bottom of a rib cage. Okay, there is a muscular organ. This is a muscular organ. Okay, a thin muscular organ which is situated slightly below our lungs, and this muscular organ is attached to our rib cage. This organ is known as diaphragm, and due to movement of a diaphragm we inhale and exhale air. This is a rib cage. Inside a rib cage what is present? Lungs is present. Okay, and here inside a lung exchange of gas takes place, and we inhale and exhale because we can control a breathing to certain extent. Okay, but we cannot control it for a longer period of a time. It is involuntary action. As it is an involuntary action, that means it is controlled by our body. And have it controlled? With the help of this diaphragm. Okay, this diaphragm, which is a muscular organ, and diaphragm move upward and downward, and due to which we breathe in and breathe out. Let's see how we breathe in or how we breathe out air. With the help of this small activity, we can easily understand how our lungs function. In this activity, we are using two red balloons, a plastic bottle, straw, and one white balloon. These red balloons will act as our lungs. Straw will be a windpipe or trachea, and this white balloon will be acting as our diaphragm. So when we pull the diaphragm, the pressure in the bottle become less than the atmospheric pressure. So the balloons inflate. That means air fill inside the balloon. And when we press the diaphragm, the process will be reverse and air comes out from that balloon. Our lungs also work in the same way. Lowering of a diaphragm causes the decrease in pressure on lungs. Due to this, air move into the lungs through nose, and diaphragm rise up, pressure on the lungs will increase. Due to this, air move out from it through the nose. Continuous upward and a downward movement of a diaphragm is necessary to bring about the breathing. So now we know how we breathe in and breathe out air. Now let's see how the exchange of gases takes place in our lungs. So to see the exchange of gases, we have to again come on our respiratory system. Okay, in our respiratory system there is nasal cavity, oral cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea. Trachea will divide in two, which is bronchi, and these bronchi will open in our lungs. Okay, and when they enter in our lungs, what happened to this bronchi? The bronchi will divide and redivide number of a time, and after it divides and redivide, these bronchioles will open up into a small balloon like structure, and this small balloon like structure is known as alveoli. Now here what happened when we inhale air? At that time we inhale oxygen, so that oxygen rich air will pass through what? Will pass through our nasal cavity. Okay, then it comes in our larynx, then here in a pharynx, then here it will comes in our trachea, and then from a trachea it enter in our lungs. Okay, from your bronchi it will enter in our lungs, and then where it will go? It will go into bronchi, then from bronchi to bronchioles, and then from bronchioles where it will enter? Yes, that oxygen rich molecule. Okay, this air which is filled up here in a alveoli. So this air contain what? This air contain oxygen. Here you can see the alveoli is completely filled with oxygen. Okay, now this alveoli walls are surrounded with blood capillaries, and this blood capillary, they initially contain carbon dioxide in a blood. That means the blood is deoxygenated. So what happened over here? The oxygen which is present in alveoli, that oxygen will absorb in what? In a blood capillaries. Okay, through a diffusion process the oxygen will absorb in a blood. The hemoglobin molecule will absorb, the RBC will absorb this oxygen molecule, and when the RBC will absorb the oxygen molecule, here the blood become oxygenated, and after the blood become oxygenated it goes to our heart, and then from heart to our tissues. And what happened to this carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide will release here in a alveoli, and after it released in a alveoli, carbon dioxide when fill in our lungs, that carbon dioxide will pass through this bronchi, then again it will goes into bronchioles, bronchi, then trachea, pharynx, and then finally it we exhale air, or we exhale carbon dioxide molecule through the respiration process. So this is about respiration process.